Alright, bam, today at the quick speed shop, check it out, 37 Ford. Uh-oh, it's in the driveway with the hood up, and that means we're going to be working on it again. Still fighting with this flathead trying to get the work right. It's been driving me nuts. I don't know. Let's get into it right now. Alright, welcome back. If you haven't seen it before, it's a 37 Ford two-door sedan. It was a 60 horsepower car. I swapped in a, where is it, right there? Bam! 59 AB, 85-90 horse flathead out of like a 46 Ford. And I've got some issues trying to get it running right. Let's dive into it right now. I'm Josh. You're at the Quick Speed Shop. I fired it up for my buddy the other day, and it was run like complete garbage on like missing a few cylinders. I ended up pulling the distributor out of it here off camera. And you got the points here, and I've got the rotor, the points open and close. Let's see if you can see that. It's probably pretty hard to see because the gap's so small, but they open and close, and I noticed the points weren't touching like flush with each other, so I took them and I bent the little tabs that mount the points on them, and I played around with it to see if I can get them lined up better. And I had to re-gap the points. You want these 15 thousandths. I also put a new condenser on because I had the new condenser originally was bad, and I put a rusty one on, and I thought maybe it was that was the problem, so I put a new one on here. In the process, I broke the stud off the connector for that in the car, so I had to take this out. I got another distributor here. I had to rob it out of it there. So I got this ready to go back in the car. It's a 2-bolt distributor, and it's pretty easy to put it back in. I've got the rotor, which goes on there like that. I took it out of the car. The rotor is down like this, so I can just essentially slap it back on the front of the engine. It's got a vacuum breaker up here, which is kind of like a vacuum advance. It sucks vacuum through the engine through here, and you can adjust this. I haven't got it running good enough yet to adjust that. You got a timing adjustment here with some timing marks on there. This is a 42 to 46 crab style distributor that uses a distributor cap like this, called the crab distributor. So I'm ready to slap this back in the car, put the voltage back to it, and see if it runs any better. If not, I don't know what's going on. It acts like it was running on like 5 cylinders just out of the blue. So I thought maybe it was the points or condenser. I don't know. I'm still messing with flatheads. This is my first time doing a flathead, and being 6 volts positive ground and everything. Everything's got to be just so to make it run. You got aftermarket parts sometimes don't work. And so I've been fussing with it and pulling my hair out. But hopefully it's going to work this time. So we're ready to slam this guy back in. Now I see why people like 8DAs. You can actually get the distributor. At least it's not a helmet head one. There's even tougher. So now it should go. Can't see, my arm is in the way. Aha, perfect. Gonna go and button this back up, put the distributor cap back on, and we'll fire up and see if it makes any difference. See, my squirter's working. Oh yeah. It's not like pouring fuel in there. It's getting a good shot. I'll see it dripping down. Man, it was just shooting fuel out of them boosters when it was running. But I don't know if it's as much as it's supposed to run, or who knows. That was... I have to pull the plugs out of this and take a look at the plugs. This thing wants to flood easily and foul. I could have fouled some of the plugs when I had the condenser was going bad. And now they're just fouled out and it's not going to clean out. But man, I don't see it dribbling fuel. It was shooting out of the boosters there quite a bit. I don't know if that was too much or what. All right, cleaning up the plugs, I noticed that this thing is running super rich. And I've got the carburetor off. You see the gasket here? You see the base plate, there's this, looks like a vacuum line, and it's sucking here, and you can see the outline of the carburetor. I think it was sucking vacuum through the carburetor because I had the idle screws all the way in to get the idle right, and I think that was sucking fuel down through it like the throttle was open. So I've got this other 97 that I got that's got a flat base plate on it. I couldn't find my other good gasket, so I'm just going to try to reuse this one, see if it'll mush down. I think it will mush enough to work. I'm wondering if that was, like I said, sucking vacuum through that hole and making this thing pull fuel and run rich, because all the plugs are like jet black. Two of the plugs on this side weren't firing at all. They had fouled out, and that could have been ignition problem, or maybe they just got too fouled to fire. But the plugs, this thing hasn't run long enough. The plugs shouldn't be super black anyways. They should be, you know, like a tan or whatever, and they're like jet black, So this thing was running way too rich, and I'm gonna guess that since I had to pull the and I had the idle screws all the way in to make it idle decent, so that tells me that it was pulling fuel, you know, more than it was. So if it had that vacuum leak, you would have to crank the fuel screws all the way in to shut off some of the airflow, because it would be having a vacuum leak and flowing too much air. That's probably what was going on. We're going to try this guy. I bought these both at Canfield at the swap meet at the Summit Scratch and Dent. So hopefully they're all right. But I think that the problem was I had that wrong base plate carburetor on here, and I didn't realize what was going on. I didn't realize that it was sealing over that hole. This is all a learning experience to me. I've, you know, messed around with V8s and 12-volt cars and stuff. The flathead stuff is the first time I've done any flathead action, and 97 carburetors and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. It's all pretty much simple. If these things ran back in the day, no reason they shouldn't run now, right? So I'll get the sucker bolted down, hooked back up, and we'll try her again. Okay, let's give her a go with a new carburetor. Fuel pump. Engage. Okay, she's probably pumped up. Squirting. Here we go. How about that? Turn her idle speed up. Oh, that's not good. This thing's still missing on a couple of cylinders. I don't know why. Not good, bro. Well, it's not running any better with that new carburetor. Runs exactly the same. It's like running on like 6 cylinders. I don't know why. Pretty sure these are new plugs I put in here. I got new plug wires, new plugs. Pretty sure the points are gapped how they're supposed to be gapped. Got another new condenser. The only thing I haven't tried is this coil. I mean, if this coil could be bad. But usually they work or they don't. I mean, it could be weak, I guess. I don't know. This is awful strange. It's running like absolute garbage, and it ran decent when I first put it together. Then it got got worse, you know. I don't understand what's going on. And it got like worse, like when it ran good the one day, and the next day it ran like garbage. I have no idea what's going on. No idea whatsoever. But it's starting to get awful freaking frustrating. Look, I did a little side project for an hour or so this afternoon. Check out all this junk. Let's back up. You see, I got the Studebaker truck here, and it's loaded full of Studebaker trucks. Let's take a look. So my friend up the way, him and I both are into these Studebaker M series. He's been collecting them a lot longer than I have, and he's getting to the point he's a little bit older than I am, and he's not going to be building all of them he has. And I went over and I made a deal to buy one good cab, and then I bought another one for parts, and then I ended up buying two more, and one of them here. This truck actually came from me, this green roof. I cut up a truck that I bought and he took it, and then I just got it back. And then I found some other stuff, but we're going to do a separate video in like a month or so, going over and rescuing the rest of the stuff because we got to dig it out. But this is going to be like a half picker video. So this is an M series roof. This was a half-ton M5, 46, 47, 48 section. I cut it up. The firewall was shot. I saved it for the roof. It's got some rot in here, but the roof skin is okay. I had saved that, and he had it over at his place. He had this front cowl section, which has got a really nice roof section in it. And actually the floors, if we can get in here, the floors and the firewall are super mint. All my firewalls are rusted out. Oh, this has got actually the bigger hump in it. This is an M16 with a bigger Champion motor, or the bigger, not Champion, the bigger engine in it. So this is the M16, a 1.5-ton cab here. I got a door, which might have come off this green truck, I can't remember. But yes, I ran over there, we loaded up this stuff. I got to get it unloaded, and then, like I said, in a month or so we'll be doing a video. My friend Jordan's going to come help. We're going to dig out another cab, and I got a plan. I want to build a Studebaker M series ramp truck with my old motorhome chassis from, if you saw the video where I cut up a motorhome. I've got a really nice low mileage big block motorhome chassis that's stretched way out, and that'll make a perfect ramp truck chassis. So I'm going to do an M series truck here, but a big one, a 1.5 ton on the motorhome chassis. It's going to be a 460 Ford powered big block ramp truck. Might have a 4-speed in it. I'm not sure if I can make all the parts work, but it's going to be like a patina-ish truck, and I got some other tricks I want to do. But these are just some of the parts. I'll be getting the rest later. So I just wanted to come out right quick and show you this. Excited. Rusty junk, rusty gold. Here we go. Okay, it's the next day. Still get this thing running right. Did all that monkeying around. I'm probably going to take the distributor out one more time, see if I can do the initial timing on it. There's on the Van Pelt website, which is a parts dealership online, there's a place that shows you how to use some slide reel straight edges and set the initial timing of the distributor, which I thought would have been close because I hadn't messed with it, but I might have to do that, take it back out and do that. Change the cap on it. Had the plugs out several times. I tried to find some plugs for it today. Nobody has the Autolite 216 plugs in stock, so hopefully these plugs aren't fouled to the point where they're not going to run, and that's not my issue. I went to the tractor store and I got a battery for my other project, my 37 Buick, and then I got another 6-volt coil, a cheap one just to try. Maybe this coil in the car is bad. I'm running out of options. I also want to change the cutout on a generator because I know I put a voltmeter on it. The generator is not charging, and it's running right now. It's run on battery voltage, which is like 6.13 volts. It should be enough to fire the ignition, I would guess. When the generator is charging, it should be making about 7.5 volts. But I gotta imagine a 6-volt coil is going to run on 6.1 volts and not be like a voltage drop where it's going to affect it. But I don't know. So I got a voltage regulator here, or I mean a voltage cutout around here. It's like pre-regulator action. It makes voltage, and when it gets to a certain point, it opens up a contact and stops making voltage. So if that's stuck open, maybe that's why the generator is not generating any voltage right now. So I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to swap in that cheap coil I got just to try the coil. We'll fire the car back up. Like I said, we swapped the carburetor. You just saw I swapped the carburetor, a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know what's going on with it. Getting pretty frustrated, but we'll try it again. Okay, I changed the coil and I put my new cutout on. So I'm going to check the voltage on the generator, and let's see if it runs any better. It's still missing. Like I said, I wasn't able to find any plugs, so maybe the plugs are just fouled out. I'm gonna have to put some new plugs in it. I cleaned them out best I could, but I don't think it's charging either. My voltage glove here so I can get shocked. Old utility glove. Good to, what are these good do? 2500 volts. Good to go. So pulling the plugs off, I could tell a little bit of difference. So it might be firing on all 8, but the timing might be way off. I'm going to have to pull the distributor out of the front and check the initial timing. Maybe it's just way out of time for some reason on the distributor. I can pull the distributor out and try to check the initial timing, get that set up, and put the distributor back in. I just don't understand. Thing ran so good, now it's running like crap. Obviously the coil didn't make any difference. The generator's still not charging at all. So I'll probably have to take that off, get it sent somewhere. I really wanted to keep this car 6 volts because it's an original car, and you see when it starts right up on 6, and it runs, and made the investment of 6-volt battery and all 6-volt ignition. A lot of guys, you know, take these and they convert them to 12 volts. You got to get a thing for the dash. They have a whole kit with an alternator and everything that you can buy for this car. But it's $700 for the alternator and all the, there's relays for the headlights so you can run the lights on 12 volts. I'd have to change out my brand new 6-volt lamps and put 12-volt lamps in it. They got a block that goes for the gauges so you can step the gauge voltage down to 6 volts. I'd have to change the coil, which is not a big deal, to a 12-volt coil. It would go to negative ground instead of positive ground. I'd have to get another battery for it. The upside is I could run brighter lights and it would start really fast at 12 volts and it would run good. I don't know, I mean, I kind of like having it at 6 volts just because it's an original car. And I don't really want to spend $700. Like if I switch it to 12 volts, I would probably get a Pertronix ignition, run full electric ignition on it and stuff. That might be what I have to do to make this thing run. Like I'm pulling my hair out trying to get the stupid thing to run right, and I haven't figured it out. Now the generator, if that's obviously not charging. If I got to get the generator rebuilt, that's a couple $100. I mean, I might as well go another couple $100 and get either a 6-volt positive ground alternator, so I could run that instead of the generator. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking to do, but I think that's about it for the 37 now. It's just running like crap, and I'm running out of time to work on it today. So I'm going to throw the back seat, get some things back on, put the hubcaps back on, put the trim rings back on it, and put it back in the barn while I figure out what to do. I can't. I've spent hours and 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 hours working on this stupid thing. All the time and money I spent putting this flathead in this car, not that I don't think it's worth it. I could have put a modern, could have put a small block Ford or a small block Chevy in it, kept it stock on the outside, and run it, converted it to 12 volts, and got in the car and driven it and had all kinds of fun with it. Like, I got a lot of money tied up in this car to not still be able to use it, and it's getting real frustrating. So, I don't know. I'm going to put it away and move on to something else. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again, bam, here at the Quick Speed Shop. Hopefully I'm not pulling my hair out. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.